Welcome to the Airbus Insider. Today we're interviewing first team coach Rick Chapman ahead of Friday night's game versus Aberystwyth at the airfield. First of all, Rick, after the confirmation of relegation last week, how's the morale of the squad?
Yeah, I don't think it's taken a massive hit, if I'm honest. I think it's probably been something we've known about for a while. It's not something that's sprung on us, I suppose. Results haven't been good enough, performances haven't been good enough, and probably what we knew was coming is where we confirmed that now.
Yeah.
And maybe it takes a bit of pressure off the lads a little bit now, really.
Yeah.
They can let themselves go a little bit,
right,
and have a right go, I think.
Well, I've noticed in games sometimes that taking chances, it seems to be a lack of confidence when it comes to the chances you get, I think, anyway, from what I've seen. Do you think now, with the relegation confirmed, do you think maybe it takes the pressure off the shoulders a little bit so they can take the chances more?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I don't think like I said earlier, I don't think we've been good enough.
Yeah.
However, they are a great group of lads and they're a good bunch. Nerves probably come into it a little bit. I mean, last time we got promoted, we struggled the first time, we struggled, went back down, and it just showed maybe that step up in class at this moment in time. That little bit of difference in those areas, it shows. We haven't been good enough at both ends. So in their box and in our box, I think overall that's probably our story of our season so far.
With being in phase 2 now and playing teams around you, do you think that's a positive to sort of play teams that are around you rather than the teams that are higher up the league?
Yeah, I think so. I think that'll help us a lot.
Yeah.
We'll probably get a little bit more of the ball. We were able to create some chances, to get some set plays in, which obviously gives you chances to score goals. You know, the top end with their budgets and with the personnel they've got, it's tough.
Yeah.
But teams in and around us, we feel like we've got the personnel in, and we feel like we are strong enough to compete.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's a lack of ability at the end of the day, which gets us, that we're sort of okay with that, as long as the effort's there and the work rate's there and the desire's there, and we've got a game plan. If it's that cutting edge that we lose out on, maybe we just have to accept that sometimes.
Yeah. I mentioned before about the lack of cutting edge and clinical and stuff like that. Do you think that's been a problem? Because I noticed in the 2 home games against Carnarvon in phase 2 and phase 1, it seemed to be like quite an even game, and they took their chances and you didn't. Do you think?
Yeah, if we look back to the last game, I think anyone was here that watched the game live. We played really well. I thought it was an even game. We both had even spells on the ball. I thought they started the game quite bright and then we grew into it. And like you say, just those chances, they had two chances, two goals, a penalty, and then obviously a great finish for the second one. But those moments in big games, in tight games, they're what get you the points, and that's probably what we've been lacking.
Yeah. With Airbus signing 7 new players on deadline day, have you been impressed with what you've seen of them, and can they contribute this season, do you think?
Yeah, they've shook things up, they've changed things around. Yeah, they've added something we haven't got in some areas. I think we've been hampered with injuries all season. That's been no surprise. We're still hampered with injuries now, but that just adds to our depth in our squad and being able to make changes. I know my job in the youth team has been really difficult, and the youth team staff has been really difficult because the amount of players that have stepped up into the first team to start games or to sit on the bench. It's been tough to pick a squad in the youth team with players we have left available. So those boys just boosting the numbers in the squad helps. Because we can make changes from the bench now, because we've got experienced players on the bench. So, but certainly a number of them have come in and done really well.
Do you think the rest of the season's about playing for pride now that relegation's been confirmed? It's just sort of, move on to the next season and look ahead sort of thing.
Yeah, it's all. I think the majority of the conversations we have now are about personal pride.
Yeah.
Whatever these players decide to do next year, and also staff at the club as well. We've got pride at stake. But whatever these boys decide to do next year, they've still got to keep and make a name for themselves and still show that they're willing to battle and willing to work even in the toughest of situations. And I think that this is certainly one of those where we've had a lot of interest from different social media accounts about us being how poor we are, and we're one of the worst teams ever in Europe or world football. I don't really look too much into that myself, but you know, no one wants that on their CV, and none of the boys want that on their CV. So it's important that we sort of play on that a little bit and pull on that one to maybe get that a little bit more out of the players that we need to get our first win of the season. And you know, and hopefully tomorrow night that's the one we get.
Yeah.